So welcome back, listeners, to the Inebri-art podcast. We are back at the craft beer cellar, recording in their basement where we love to hang out and chit-chat with some of our guests. And today I am joined by Blair of Setting the Space.
Yes, I am Blair of Setting the Space, and it's wonderful to be in this beautiful basement.
And so what, for our listeners who don't already know, and I'm sure there's more to it, I'm familiar with Setting the Space as being a store in a couple of locations in Plymouth, but there's more to it than just the storefront, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a very cool story. So 11 years ago, Will and I set out to not really even create a company, but I took a little course. It was a 3-day course on home staging. And 11 years ago, they didn't teach this course in Massachusetts because nobody knew what home staging was, including myself. So I went off to Maryland and took this 3-day course, and the teacher said to me, "You're really good at this." And she said, "One day you will have a successful home staging company." And I said, "No, I won't." I said, "I'm going to do what everybody else does after spending $2,000. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do nothing." And she said, "All right," but she said, "if you could do one thing for me," she said, "join our website." She said, "Come up with a name of the company you don't have and just go on the website and fill all this stuff out." So I went home and I didn't do it. So I don't know. About a month later, I decided, hey, Setting the Space is a cool name.
Yeah.
I put my picture on it, and I called ourselves a home staging company. And lo and behold, a week later, I got a phone call from a company called Toll Brothers. They're builders that are all over the United States. And someone said to me, "One of our Toll Brothers out in the Midwest does this thing called staging, and we're very interested in having someone stage." And she said, we're interviewing 13 people. I'm like, 13 people? What is this for? This big, huge, who knows what?
Right.
So anyhow, that's cool. So I did an interview over the phone, and she asked me questions, and I answered the questions as best as I could. And that was that. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, and now I'm being told I'm one of 7. Meaning they've narrowed us down to 7 people.
Yeah.
And they would now like to have me come to their corporate office and have an interview. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? This is as crazy as can be.
So, not to interrupt, but so staging is exactly what? Because I feel like a lot of people don't exactly know what that is.
Most people do not know what it was, and nor did I. Home staging is a term that's used to get your house ready for sale. So let's say you're in a house or a condo, and it's time to put it on the market. If you were buying a new car, right, or a used car, doesn't matter. You go to the lot and you look at one that's been detailed, one that's has not been detailed. What would you do?
You'd definitely go with the one that's detailed.
Or you may go with the one that's not detailed, and you actually...
you'd want a better deal. Right, yeah.
Okay, good. So anyhow, staging is detailing your house.
Okay.
And now it has become a imperative. You absolutely have to do it. So for anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's preparing their house for resale. So anyhow, I go and I sit at a table like this, maybe a little prettier, I don't know, and less scratched or whatever, but sorry, just had to do it. Anyhow, so I go and sit in front of these people, and they start asking me questions about the fictitious company that we do not have.
Right.
And once again, I answer all their questions.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "You're the last person today," and she said, "You're the only person who knew what the hell you were talking about." So
really?
Oh, really? So she looked at me and she said, "You're our stager." So here's where it gets funny. I went outside and I puked my guts out. This is the God to honest truth.
Because at that point, you're probably like, what have I got myself into?
I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What have I just gotten myself into? Now I have been dubbed their stager, and we aren't stagers. I mean, anyhow. So, long story short, what I ended up doing is I would meet with clients, and we would literally tell them how to take the crap out of their house, because that's what it's all about. You know, we had to declutter it and make it look pretty so that the next person coming in says, "Oh, wow, I want to buy this house." So it evolved into many, many, many different things, and our company turned into a company.
Yeah.
So the next level of home staging was that we needed to use rental furniture. So, for example, let's say that you were relocated and your company is going to sell the house for you. All of a sudden, you have a vacant house to sell. Statistically, 92% of people cannot visualize the space. They're going to walk into an empty room. They're not going to know what in the hell to put in.
It's just an empty room, right?
It's just an empty room.
Yeah.
So what we started to do is we started bringing in rental furniture, and we would set the room up like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Home Goods, we bought pictures, we made it look pretty,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, these houses were selling. Now, this was back in 2006, 2007, when we were in a recession and houses were not selling quickly. Okay, we've gone through the ebb and flow of how houses are sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, our houses are selling. So everything that Will and I are touching are selling, and they're selling very quickly.
Right. And I assume for kind of like asking price.
Kind of like above asking price.
There you go.
That's how good this has been. So we started buying our own furniture.
Yeah.
So this is where we'll have a little chuckle with this because it's so true. We worked our asses off for 3 years. Okay, I cannot remember those 3 years. He doesn't remember those 3 years.
Yeah.
We worked 7 days a week. We literally could be out till midnight, and then we're up at 7 in the morning doing it all over again. And what we started to do is we started taking the income that we were making from the staging, and we started purchasing the furniture. And 3 years later, we realized that we had over $1 million worth of inventory paid in full.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's huge, isn't it? Yeah. And we had no clue. And then we had to start housing this furniture, so I was really, really proud of myself. We bought a warehouse.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice until the day that we started putting the furniture in, and when I tell you we couldn't close the door, and there was not enough room in that warehouse. Crazy.
Yeah.
So anyhow, long story short, we became very successful at home staging, and we're located across the street here in Plymouth, and the owner of the building that we're in came to me, and he knew that we had used furniture, if you will, because the rental furniture became used furniture.
Right, yeah.
And apparently downtown Plymouth has a lot of antique stores and stuff, so he came in and he said, have you guys ever thought about opening a retail store? He said, I have an empty space, and he said you could bring your furniture in.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, and now this was 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, but I said, from what I hear about downtown Plymouth, and this is so not true, well, it is true, parking is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
True. Okay, but people figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, I said, no problem. And he said, you don't have to sign a lease with me or anything. And I said, fabulous. I said, we're going to move our stuff in 1 month. Nothing's going to happen. We're going to be moving it right back out.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, that didn't happen. So, and also, we didn't bring in the used furniture. We actually started buying new furniture. So we opened up a furniture store.
Yep.
So then what was happening is people were coming in, but people were running out because there's a fear of furniture, pricing, they don't understand it. So all of a sudden I noticed that we were getting a tremendous amount of traffic, such as because in Plymouth we get all of the tourists.
Tourists and people
plus
out.
Locals,
yep.
right?
Just kind of out shopping around, walking around.
Absolutely. Yep. So Will and I went to a trading show, which you could buy gift stuff at. Mm-hmm. You buy baby stuff, you buy pocketbooks, you buy women's clothing, you buy custom chocolates.
Yep.
So we started bringing this stuff into the store, and what was happening is people were walking into the so-called furniture store, and they were buying stuff all day long, and then all of a sudden the furniture started selling.
Right.
So we turned our store into what we call a lifestyle store. So what that means is that anybody at any time can walk in that store. They can buy custom chocolates for $3. They can buy, you have to see these candles that are made in craft beer bottles. I should have brought you one.
Oh, that's cool.
I will bring you one. It's pretty cool, okay? Someone devised, they take the craft beer bottle.
Yep.
Because craft beer has become so popular.
Oh, it's huge now,
It's huge, and they're making candles out of it.
Oh, nice.
I'll bring some over. So they're pretty cool.
Cool.
So today, so we don't have just a couple of stores. So today we now have 6 retail stores.
And where are they located? I know there's 2 here in Plymouth.
It's 3 in Plymouth. So there's...
Where's the third one?
The third one is in Pine Hills at Exit 3.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Pine Hills, is a golf community.
Yep.
So we opened up a small store there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been there 2 years now, 2.5 years. We have the one over in Colony Place. Our biggest and our best and our baby is the one here in Main Street.
Right.
Then we opened up a pop-up store. So in the malls, so we were in Derby Street, and now we're in Legacy Place in Dedham.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in these malls is that, these national companies go out of business.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Which is very, very bad for a mall, because the second they have an empty spot, people think the mall is closing.
Right.
It's so stupid, but that's what happens. So anyhow, we're on the list, and it's a good list that we're on. We're on the A list the people know to call Setting the Space, or we'll have the realtors call us and ask, can we do a pop-up store? So what that means is there's a start date and there's a finish date.
Yep.
So the first pop-up store we ever did was next to Apple in Derby. Now, you've got to understand, we're tiny little Setting the Space. We're not a big company.
Yeah.
And we were chosen to go into next to Apple. So if I die tomorrow, we've done it, okay?
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, I did it. We were next to Apple. That's
Right.
pretty huge.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because we would never be able to afford the type of rents that are there.
Yeah.
And B, we're not a national store, so we're not the A-list store.
Mm-hmm.
But we were chosen because people know our store and they respect our store, and they wanted us next to Apple. So for 9 months, we were in the location next to Apple.
Yeah.
Closed. Apple closed everything down. They took our space, their space, and they made it one.
Yeah.
And now we're in a pop-up store in Dedham, a Legacy Place. So that'll end whenever. Then we're down the Cape. So we opened our Mashpee store at Mashpee Commons 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy store. My God, is it busy. It's just...
Is it like a seasonal thing? Like
No.
All the time?
So it's, so Mashpee Commons is an outdoor mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, from Memorial Day till Christmas, it is bizarrely crazy. And yes, January and February, like anywhere else, is slower.
Right, yeah.
But people go to the mall all the time. I mean, people shop all the time.
Yeah.
And then it starts back up just as it's going to happen, in downtown Plymouth as the weather gets better. And then last week, because we're nuts, we just opened up a new store in Falmouth.
Oh, nice.
I'm exhausted.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It?
And all this since 2006, you said?
So in 11 years...
That's...
In 11 years...
Like every other year you're opening a store.
Well, how about every year? Because the store started in oh my God, the store started 6 years ago. So we've opened a store
Every year. That's
every year.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we could keep opening them every year.
Yeah.
But I'm pooped. How much can I do?
Right.
And then our home staging business, what's really cool about that is we are the second largest home staging company in the world. The world.
Wow. So do you do home staging beyond like the local area?
We do.
Oh, wow. So
what's our local area?
Well, I would think
P-Town to Worcester.
Yeah.
Right, and then towns I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Then we are in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Vermont.
Yeah.
Connecticut. We've staged in New York City. Yeah.
Wow.
Why? Because of our talent. Because we're not.
Sure, yeah. Once you get known, and people will make the call, and
the farthest we've gone, the truck's been in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
And it's been to Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow, that's
crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
So you said you felt like you made it when you got a place next to Apple.
I'm next to Apple.
But now that's happened. Like, what's like your next dream goal?
So we did this really cool video one day. We had a recognition dinner for our entire employees, and one of the girls that was working for us did this really cool PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. And she started when it was just Will and I, and now we have almost 30 employees. And she kept showing what we've done and what we've done and what we've done. And when we look back at what we've accomplished in 11 years, it's crazy because our projects have been huge. We've done a hotel. We were in charge of a 32-room boutique hotel, so we did that. We have done some restaurant work. We have done other major, big, huge buildings where we're doing the inside, plus all of our normal houses. We've been in the best of houses. So at the very end, the question was, what's next? So right. Will and Sue, Will and I own the company. Sue is his assistant. So they are in charge of our staging division, and they're also in charge of our interior design firm.
Okay.
So it was kind of clever, and the next screen that came up on our PowerPoint is that Will and Sue would be staging the moon. What else is next?
Right,
We've been to 11 states. What else are we going to do?
Yeah.
Will we open stores nationally? Maybe.
Right.
I think what's happened, which is really cool, is that we don't think anymore. People will come to us. So we'll get phone calls literally on a daily basis. And we have people who want us to open a store in New Hampshire. I've got someone currently who wants me to open a store in Connecticut. Yeah. Every time people come from California, they all tell us we should open out in California. What are we going to do? I mean, how much there's one of me?
Exactly.
How much more,
right? But that's a really cool feeling, and we've kind of just started to experience that with the podcast, where past guests have called up and been like, "Hey, can I be on the podcast again?"
Absolutely.
Or like they're recommending other people or bringing other people in, and it's just kind of that cool feeling of I don't want to say, I guess it's nice to be wanted, I suppose that's what it is.
You know what? It is nice to be wanted, and it's true. And I do a local, do you hear me on 99.1? We're on the radio.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. So
cool.
okay. So if you listen,
Oh, I've heard your ads.
yes,
Yes.
So I've become the local little star, if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a distinctive voice, and people. I'll be in BJ's.
Yeah.
And I have to watch out what I say because all of a sudden they're like, "That's you." And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, I know it's me. So, well, what do you mean? Well, no, you're you.
Yeah.
You're you. You know, you're the guy who owns setting the
It's
space.
surreal. Yeah.
Well, so I have, that much. They can't see what I'm saying, but we have a very tiny bit of starism, if you will. But we're just normal people. At the end of the day, all it is that because they recognize us on the radio, people think, we're bigger or whatever. Well, we're nothing. We do the same as everybody else.
Exactly.
Does, right?
Yeah.
But it's nice to be recognized, and I think that's really what it's all about, is people understand how hard we've worked. We have brought a beautiful store to the community. We've helped the downtown area here bring in more traffic. We have people who come from all over the world, and we have the repeat traffic who literally will be from China or Japan, or we have German. You see it, German. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, it's the same thing. The people from Germany come in the same week. The people from Spain come in this. I don't get it. But, we have the same people who will come back and say, I was at your store last year, I bought something, now I'm back to buy something else. So that freaks me out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but it's recognition.
I mean, it's local, but every Christmas my girlfriend goes to Setting the Space because of stuff that you don't find everywhere.
That's right.
And her family's from Ohio, so she flies home for Ohio. So it's got to be small enough that she can fit in her carry-on.
Absolutely.
So she finds nice little gifts. And
next year, just tell her to come in and we'll ship everything. That way she can buy bigger stuff and bigger stuff.
I'll let her know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where do you get a lot of the you were just talking about someone making craft beer candles. Do you reach out to like a lot of artisans and artists? Or?
So it's a cool question you're asking. So there are trade shows that we go to. So obviously we sell literally everything from A to Z. So we sell furniture all the way down to selling, beer bottle, craft beer, candle
luchador candles. I think I saw on there one time. Like, those are kind of cool.
So what happens is, we do go to trade shows.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're traveling. We probably travel 6 to 8 times a year to trade shows, and those trade shows can be anywhere from New York City to Vegas. We've even gone to Paris to a big, huge trade show because, we were interested to see.
Or was that like, I want to go to Paris and I'm going to use the trade show as a reason? Like, might as well.
The trade show was 2 hours and the trip was 10 days.
Yeah, there you go.
So whatever. But so we do that, and then what happens is people again come to us. So this really cool girl, I think she was from Ohio, came in and she introduced us to, I think they're called Twinkle Brews. It's kind of a cool name, huh? Twinkle Brews. And those are the candles. The candles, right?
Cool, yeah.
So she showed us the stuff, and I gave her an order right then and there. So we do have local artists that come to us. We have some really great prints that have you ever seen our fish prints? They take a real fish and they actually dip it in ink and then they put it on the canvas.
I don't know
it's a Japanese technique. So we have a local guy who does that for us, and we have, I don't even know what other locals we have, but we definitely sell local stuff. We try to sell certain things that are made in the States, and then obviously certain things that aren't.
Right.
But we're traveling everywhere. It's a constant find. So people come into our store. They can come in today. Tomorrow there's already new stuff in the store. So stuff goes out, stuff comes in.
So it's kind of like limited run kind of stuff, or
so that's another thing is that, again, because we have so many repeat customers, like people will come in and say, gee, you have this thing, whatever that thing is, in the store today. Will you always have it? No, we won't always have it.
Right.
It's probably the same way with the craft beer. You probably keep certain ones, and then I'm sure you're always trying different ones.
Yeah, sure. It's like, especially seasonal stuff.
Absolutely.
It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, and the same thing with us. And then with seasonal stuff, we sell stuff for Christmas. We sell stuff at Halloween. We do Thanksgiving stuff. We do Easter stuff. So we have seasonal stuff as well.
Is there one thing in your store that always will be there? Is it like that one, like, can't let that go?
Have you ever seen the beverage dispensers? This is a cool story. The beverage dispensers are made out of granite.
Yeah, I have seen those. I was looking at those. Those are really neat.
So we sell, on an average, we order anywhere from 48 to 72 of those.
Yeah.
And we sell that amount per month.
Wow.
It's made out of granite.
And it's got like a little tap on it, right?
Yeah, it's got a tap on it, right. So what do we do with that? We put the big craft beer in it.
Yeah.
You put the wine in it. You put the bottle of bourbon in it. The whole world comes in, they see the tap. Tap turns people on. It is the funniest thing. So I look at people now and I say, why do you like it? Because you like to drink, and the tap turns you on because everybody wants a tap.
You know, and it's weird. It's because like I've been to like sports bars that have like a giant cylinder they bring to your table with a tap on it. There's one in the mall now that you can sit at a table and you have your own taps.
100%. Yeah.
So
I'm going to bring you a tap because do you do your craft beer? Do you taste it? Or your wine?
I don't. But I don't run the beer cell. That's Tatum.
That's right.
We just borrow. Yeah.
Sorry. So
I drink my craft beer.
I'm going to bring one of them to them. Because
I think that's what they're doing upstairs now. I think they're having a tasting. I think that's what those other guys are.
Store afterwards. I'm going to get her one of these dispensers because
they're super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So that's the one item that we will always have forever and a day. Here's the other item. I have my shirt on. What do we have? Octopus?
You have a friend of mine loves the dresser in the window that has an octopus all on it.
So octopus is the hot thing.
Yeah.
Whatever we call an octopus, right? An octopus is the hot thing. So one of the things that we do is we have these really cool prints of octopus, and they've been in the store since day one. And I should reiterate that they really haven't been the same prints because we sell them constantly. People love octopus. It's the hottest thing. So what we did with our logo is we've incorporated the octopus
into the logo.
Nice. The space logo, yeah.
Have you ever seen something in your travels that you want to carry in the store, but for some reason you can't, whether it's just like a one-off thing?
I can carry anything I want.
Yeah.
That's what the cool thing about setting the space is that there is... Running some cool stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So we sell these little, if you think of terrariums.
Yeah.
Okay. So we sell from this company. We just go in and there's all these cool little terrariums, which are just little glass, round things, and you would put the real plants or the fake plants in it.
Yeah.
So one day we're in there and we pick up this little plastic kit, and it's got people in sexual positions. Oh, yeah.
For the terrarium?
You said I could say anything.
Oh, you can...
Okay.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
So they're fucking is basically what's happening. Okay, so let's just get to the bottom of this with little dicks. Okay, so we're going to get right to the bottom
That's
of this.
a riot.
So I thought, I don't give a fuck. They're going in these terrariums.
Yeah.
Because basically what it is, they're so miniature that what it was supposed to do is make you look a double take. Do you ever see the movie Birdcage? Do you remember that
Oh,
movie?
yeah. With Robin Williams. Yeah.
And when the in-laws went in and they saw the plates and they said, why are those guys doing leapfrog?
Oh, right, and they just like slapped potatoes on top of it or something.
Leapfrog. Well,
right.
These things were doing leapfrog too. So and I figured, you know what? It's my company. We're not going to be offensive to anybody. You have to really look.
Yeah.
The other thing we have is a fuck you pillow. It says fuck you.
Really?
Sure, why not?
Huh.
So you ask, will I sell anything?
Yeah.
Of course we'll sell anything. I mean, come off it. At the end of the day, everybody loves all the kitschy stuff. Everybody loves the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And if it has a swear word, guess what? It's even better.
Of course, because then it's like, oh, I'm not supposed to have this.
But we have it.
That's
and
awesome.
The funniest thing is the 70-year-old women are the ones who buy the fuck you pillow. So
really?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah.
So we're this cool, fun company that we will try to sell anything and everything. We have these new outdoor Jenga. These outdoor, Jenga.
Oh,
right?
That's like a big thing.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so is the Jenga thing. It's probably about 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
They're $100. It comes in a really cool box. And people are going ballistic. We brought them into the stores 2 weeks ago. And you have to understand, I'm always skeptical. Like, what's going to sell? What isn't going to sell? How do we know? Well, guess what? Everything we put in that store sells. Because people haven't seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Jenga. Okay, now you explode the Jenga to 4 feet.
Right.
And you can use it outdoors.
Outdoors at your cookout and whatnot. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I actually saw an interview with Tilda Swinton and Benedict Cumberbatch, and it was one of the most interesting interviews I ever saw.
Yeah.
It was just a regular-sized Jenga.
Yeah.
So the two of them were playing Jenga, and all the questions were written on the blocks. So they'd pull out a question, and they would have, and some of it was about the movie they were promoting, and some of it was just random nonsense.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that's so cool.
That's so cool. Yeah.
But that. Yeah, I love your store. I've been in there a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you've been all over.
Yep.
You said you've worked in the best houses. Have you worked for any noteworthy people?
Okay, so who are noteworthy people? Would Will Smith, the Will Smith, be noteworthy to you?
I don't know if I heard of him. What's he do?
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
We have worked for some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah.
We have worked for many movie stars. They started producing movies in Boston, 10 years ago?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Do you guys get called into like set design? That's awesome.
Yeah. You can ask us that. Mick Jagger has called my personal cell phone to order flowers for one of his assistants that was working there. That was pretty cool.
Ah.
We have met all of the producers, the most famous producers and directors in Boston for the Pink Panther 2 movie.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
We did this huge thing. They made a remake of a movie called The Women. The Women was released back in the 30s, all women in the movie. And then Jada Pinkett Smith was in it. Bette Midler was in it.
And that filmed here in Boston?
Ava Mendez was in it.
Huh.
This was like 10 years ago. It's a girly movie, so that's why you don't even know.
Yeah, I don't.
Ask your wife, she'll tell
Sorry.
you. We were in charge of the whole movie. We met so many stars that would floor you. Will and I were in this director's condo in Boston at 9 o'clock at night before we had staff, and he and I are on a ladder hanging drapes because he's complaining that I'm from California. I can't have any light because I sleep till 10 in the morning. Blah blah blah.
so like blackout curtains or something.
Oh, they're blackout curtains, and there on his desk is Brad Pitt's cell phone number and every friggin' star you can imagine. And I'm like, Will, what should we do? Should I just take a picture of this? What the fuck? It's like, and he's like, no, we're good boys. And I'm like, yes, we are. And he's on the phone calling Aretha Franklin to ask her if she would like to have the music in the movie of the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. We've died and gone to
That's
heaven.
so cool.
We are setting the space, and look at what we and who we are working for. So the list goes on and on and on.
And all from a couple of grand you spent on a class.
Yeah, that was it. $2,000. And we did. We started with no money, and we've excelled into a pretty cool company. And everybody knows us locally, which is fun. And I go to an airport in North Carolina, and they're like, we know who you are. I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I was telling my boss that I'm like, I'm recording with Setting the Space today. And she's like, Blair? And I'm like, yeah.
I love it. I love
so
it.
She's like, hey, Blair. Hey, Will.
Yeah.
So she's been doing that at her cubicle like all week.
So that's an interesting question. So you have heard some of our thingies that we do.
The commercials, yeah.
Okay, so when Will and I fight in the morning, that's when we're going to have our best commercials.
Yeah.
So we have, we get into the store in the morning or into the warehouse in the morning, and we become aggravated because that's what happens when you go to work, right? You become aggravated.
Yeah.
So then Will and I go to the studio. There's no script. So it starts off with me, and I told you we've just had a fight. It's like makeup sex. The best makeup sex is when you fight with each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, so we have fought. So we go into, and we sit just like we're sitting here, and I always started. So one day I said, hey, Will, and he's like, hey, Blair. Then it gets complicated sometimes because I call him Blair, and he calls me Will, and I don't know which one of us is which. That's really fucked up, but that's okay. So anyhow, so we start doing these really cool commercials, and then we talk about our lives.
Yeah.
And you're 100% correct. Hey, Blair, hey, Will. And people know that.
That's kind of like the,
And then it starts off with the theme song. We have a theme song, right? And here are the lives. Here's another episode in the lives of Blair and Will. And we just start talking. And we've got it down pat now that we go in 4 minutes.
Yep.
We're done. And then they produce it. And we have a 1-minute commercial that comes out of it. Sometimes 2 1-minute commercials. And people listen to us and they love it.
That's great.
It's awesome.
Your voicemail made her day. Because when you called, it was like,
right.
hey, Andy.
So
so I'm like, you got to listen to this. And she's like, what is it? And I played it for her. She's like, oh, my God.
I think I need a nap then or something. I'm going to need a nap, and I should have all those voice things, or I don't know what you talk about. But you know what I mean? Something cool. I don't know.
That's funny.
I'm talking about.
So what, it's getting close to spring? Or spring is sprung? Sort of. Yeah. And so what can people expect to see in the store this season?
Oh my God! You're putting me on the spot. Huh?
That's okay. What I do.
I noticed that. Okay. So first of all, like I told you, we sell everything. So we sell outdoor furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we already have some of our outdoor furniture in the store because now is the time to buy. Because guess what? Snow is going to be gone, and it's time to get your outdoors spruced up. So we have all kinds of stuff like that. Easter, we have some really cool stuff for Easter. We sell really beautiful women's clothes. I mean, it's crazy. I get to buy them, and I don't know what I don't know where the hell this came from, but I know how to buy really cool women's clothes. So we buy some really unique stuff. In our new Falmouth store, we have a new concept, which is a women's boutique. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that keeps changing.
Well, what would that be?
Well, a women's boutique just simply means I have this really cool room, and we're really bringing in some really hot outfits, and we're bringing in different sizes, and we're going to just keep changing up stuff constantly. So we've just gone more in depth with women's clothes as opposed to just a couple of things here and there. Yeah. So we're doing stuff like that. Kind of working on an idea of bringing these really cool cakes, believe it or not. I know.
No,
my mind doesn't.
I like food.
If you can see this, I like my food and beer too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm always looking for something different, and we have so much traffic that goes in the stores. Like I've always wanted to put. Oh my God! I should put the craft beer in the store. That's what we should be doing. Is extending the craft beer over there. But
you don't want to compete with the beer seller. Do that in Falmouth.
Play with each other is all we could do. But anyhow, but we're always looking for unique ideas in how we can jazz the store up. We're in the midst of putting in a new interior design section in the store, which just simply means that we can help people from soup to nuts, whether they need paint or wallpaper or window treatments or new knobs for their cabinets or you name it, we do it.
Nice.
So that's cool.
So let me ask you this question. My girlfriend is a kitchen designer.
Ooh.
And so I'm constantly coming home and going, where the hell is everything? Because everything's around. Is that something like, do you and Will constantly change your own place around? Or is it one of those you get home, you're like, I don't want to do work anymore?
So it's a two-part question because number one, we certainly don't want to do work. So we've just recently moved. So our prior house was the old saying of you're the cobbler's kid or whatever the hell it's
like the mechanic drives the shittiest car. Yeah.
Well, we had the shittiest furniture. So here we are amongst all this beautiful furniture sitting in our warehouse, and we go home every night and we're in the crappiest of furniture because we're so damn tired that it's not going to happen. So we bought a house recently, and Will was extremely spoiled because he got to choose entirely the new furniture. So we have a Setting the Space concept home, which we actually have. Some of our sales staff brings people into our house and on occasion sells some of our furniture.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
It's just a Setting the Space
like, do you come home and be like, there was an ottoman here?
Yeah.
That's got to be really strange.
It is strange. It's like, as long as they don't take the dogs. So it's like, but we have gone home and one of our salespeople has sold the chair and whatever. It's just, that's what we do.
That's kind of cool, though, because it's like, you can enjoy the chair, but if it's gone, now you get to buy another one.
Yeah. So it's, so we're spoiled like that. I mean, we're surrounded with beautiful furniture, and now we've graduated to the point where that does happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we were staging houses before we had a ton of inventory, we'd have to take a sofa out or we'd have to take a dining table out. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the thing that happens. But you've got to remember, when you're in the business, I'll decorate your house, I'll decorate someone else's house. I'm not decorating my own house. It's
right.
I can't even watch HGTV. So this is it's taboo.
Now you can't watch it because you just
I live it.
Or do you get angry at it?
Well,
or is it just one of those I don't want to hear about it?
Well, I do get angry at it, unfortunately, because television is television. They don't get it. It's not real.
It's not real.
No, we've been on HGTV. We've been on some of the reality shows where we've had to stage for them, and it's television. You get to edit what you get to edit.
Oh, right? Sure, yeah.
So I can get mad at that, but the other problem is I live it on a daily basis. I am HGTV.
So you want that break,
I need the break.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you watch to get away?
The most goriest things, Criminal Minds and all kinds of who can kill who better.
Police shows,
I love that shit. And the hospital shows, the more gory, the more blood. Well, I don't know. I do pretty stuff all day, so I need to see the nasty stuff.
You got to offset it. You said you have a dog. What kind of dog?
I have 3 dogs. So we have Mr. Bentley, who is 14 years old. He's a mini red dachshund. And Mr. Bentley...
I had a mini dachshund.
And Bentley was a show dog, although he was bred to be a show dog, so he's got personality.
Yeah.
And Bentley has traveled the world with us and really cool. And Bentley is very calm and very prince-like.
Yeah.
So 2 years after that, we decided to be cute and get him a brother.
Okay.
So his half-brother, Brody, came from the same father.
Yeah.
The only problem was Brody's mother was a whore. She just was not. She just wasn't cool, you know what I mean? So Brody is the country bumpkin. So we have perfect Bentley, and we have Brody, who is just as common and as country as absolutely can be. And in comes Brody, and Bentley looks at him and says, "Who the fuck are you? What are you doing in my house?
This is my house.
This is my house." And Brody's like, "Screw you, I'm here." So they learn to live together, and Brody is 12 years old. So literally a year ago, or a year and a little while before that, I was kind of going through, I turned 50.
Yeah.
And when I turned 50, it was the best thing in my life, and it lasted for all of 3 months. Then the aches and the pains and the what the hell do you do when you're 50?
Yeah.
And then I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I think I had this crisis, if you will. So I'm online looking at very expensive cars.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, do we need another car? So then I go to what we love, which are our dogs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I see this. I'll show you a picture as we're doing this. All of a sudden, I see this cream-colored, long-haired dachshund. And I thought,
oh my God, that's a cute dog.
okay, that's a cute dog.
That is a cute dog.
So I thought, all right, what am I going to do in the morning? I'm going to have to say to Will, do you mind if we get another dog? Now, you have to understand, Bentley's 14, Brody is 12, and now we're ruining our lives by having a child.
Right.
A lot of people know what that means, don't
Yeah.
they? They've had a kid at 14, then they decide maybe it's an oops and maybe it isn't. Oh, I'm going to have another baby.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so we go to work the next day. It's Sunday, and I have a picture of what you just saw, who he's absolutely beautiful. And he's got one blue eye. So I said, what are we going to do? And Will's like, well, you know what you're going to do. Buy the dog. Order the dog. He said, because you're not ordering that expensive car.
Right, yeah.
So anyhow, 3 days later, we go to the airport, just like the baby you get from Asia or something, whatever. So we go to the airport, and out comes this 3-pound little shit who's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life.
Because when they're puppies, they're small.
They're little.
Yeah.
And he's beautiful. He's a blonde.
Yeah.
Okay? And he knows he's a blonde. No offense, but he knows he's a blonde and he can get away with it.
Yeah.
So now what? We bring him into the house. Well, what the hell do you think? The dog's like, what? What is this thing? So, lo and behold, they hate him, obviously. But he's here to stay, and they have to learn he's here to stay. And he's so damn clever.
How long have you had him?
He's a year old.
Oh.
So
wow,
he's
so still new.
Well, you'll love him. So what do you think? What do you think a boy dog does with a boy dog? Right? It's just So in he comes. They bark at him. He's very submissive. He rolls over on his back and he looks at them. And he's like, "Go for it." And the dynamics between them are just intense, and it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
They hate him. When are you going home? Bentley's still waiting for Brody to go home, and it's been 12 years.
Right.
But at this point, the three of them are pretty darn cool together. They have their dynamics together. That's our kids. We love our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you going to do? At the end of the day, I'm not watching HGTV, so I would rather go home and play with the dogs and watch my gory shows and call it a day. So
nice.
It's cool.
So when you're designing a space, where do you find inspiration for that space? Do you just kind of go in and kind of envision what should go where, or like do you I don't know, look at other pictures for reference, or
so I think the way to answer this question is easy. You know, first of all, we have so many things at our fingertips. We have, House. If you go on the computer, you see all kinds of cool stuff. We go to trade shows. We go to what's called a market, and the furniture market is like you've never ever seen it in your life. It's out in High Point, North Carolina, which is just a little town.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is visualize Plymouth exactly as it is, and then visualize all these stores as being, one is a sofa store, one is a lamp store, one is something else, and that's what the downtown is. But it's only open to the public. So you'd have traffic going through these streets daily, but the general public can never go into it, and it's only open 2 weeks, 1 week out of twice a year. So it's open in the spring and it's open in the fall. Okay, if you're following what I'm trying to say.
So like 1 week in the fall, 1 week in the spring.
Yeah, and then they're closed, but it's a little town, right?
Right.
It's crazy. And this is where people from all over the world would travel. Now, things have changed because there's no more mom and pop stores. There's big, huge stores and all of that stuff. But so we go down there, and we're like kids in a candy store because we see things that are being made. So a lot of the stuff is being test marketed. So we may walk into, say, our lamp store, and you can see the most gorgeous lamps in the world. And what happens is people start to pre-order. You don't have to pay for anything, but you have to commit and say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this.
And then they'll manufacture based on the orders.
And some things don't make the cut.
Right.
Well, anyhow, so a big part of our inspiration is getting to see what we have. And then what will happen is some of the stuff may take a month to come in, and some of the stuff may take 4 to 6 months to come in. So we have this in our mind. So when we start working with our clients, what we get to do is we get to show them the latest and greatest that they're not going to see anywhere else.
Yeah.
We're one of the first companies to have it come into our showroom, and that's why people love coming to Setting the Space. So that's a big inspiration for us, and we've been doing it for years. Magnolia Home. Do you watch HGTV?
No.
People know
Chip
and Joanna
Gaines.
Gaines. All right, Chip and Joanna Gaines are one of the reality shows that they flip houses.
Okay.
And Magnolia Home has become huge. Everyone loves them. They're a great couple. They're from the Midwest. And we are now selling some of their product. And people are going ballistic.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it is cool. So we'll bring in stuff like that. So anyhow, when we go into people's homes, we'll talk to them. We'll figure out what they want. And one of the things that's happened today in the real estate market is, number one, it's extremely busy. Number two, people are buying condos, they're buying homes, and I don't care how old they are, if they're 20, 30, 50, 60, 90, nobody is bringing their old furniture because they want updated furniture.
Yeah.
So they're literally dumping all their old crap, and then they're starting fresh because there's no more traditional furniture. You remember your grandmother's dining room table that was red cherry and they had the red hutch? We all had it.
Right.
Okay? You can't buy that anymore. As a matter of fact, we work with a lot of people from France, and in France they call it the Louis XIV furniture. Sounds expensive.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's cheap shit is what it is, but they've had it as long as they open the door and they throw it right out. They just open their door and they throw it in the trash. Come and take this crap away from me. So people are now buying new quality furniture, today's look, because they want to feel updated.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyhow, going back to answering your question, so we'll go into a house, we'll have a lot of conversations with people, understand what they're looking for, but they're also looking for us to inspire them. So we don't ask them too many questions, but we get a good bead on them. And then we go back to the store, and we have so many resources. We have the most gorgeous wallpaper. Like wallpaper, people think, oh, do people use wallpaper anymore? Oh my God, wallpaper can cost $400 a roll. We have we did this cool project, and we used recycled wallpaper that was made out of recycled windshields. I know.
Was it clear wall?
No. So just like they can recycle anything. So the glass was ground down. I mean, you could touch the wallpaper. It didn't feel like glass, but it was made out of recycled.
That's interesting.
I know, it's weird though, right? So we have so many resources at our hands that we always pick a room and we always pick a focal point. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll start with a rug, and then we'll start with wall color / wallpaper, and then we'll start to bring in the sofa, and we'll start to create this whole entire look. And I think a lot of it now is just because we've traveled the world. We were in Paris. We went there for a huge reason to see, are we on trend? Are we, we want to have a European flair. We want to have a French flair.
Right.
People love Paris. They love the Parisian. Even if you've never been there, they love a Parisian feel. We have a very, very eclectic feel. We do something called juxtaposing, which we can take the old and mix it with the new. Because not everybody takes all their furniture and gets rid of it. So if they want us to keep certain pieces of furniture, we can integrate it in a way.
So you get kind of an eclectic look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And their old stuff looks better than it ever looked because we're bringing in the new, clean, modern twist, if you will. And that's basically what we do. And then we bring them back into the showroom. We present it to them. They love it because how can they not love it? And when you see, so we call it the Setting the Space concept, and people today want a Setting the Space home. And we've been very fortunate with more than a handful of people who have allowed us to decorate their entire home with everything from Setting the Space. I mean, we can go in there, we can set everything up, bring dishes in, bring your towels in, bring bathrobes in. I mean, we can do things that are fun, right?
I remember I was over there not too long ago, and there was I believe it was a table that looked like it was made out of like metal with like stud, like almost looked like it was taken from an airplane, like airplane parts. That was
absolutely.
really
So there's a lot of reclaimed stuff. We have tons of reclaimed wood. When we first opened the store, we had this really cool coffee table. It was round, and the top was made out of recycled tires, so it was rubbery.
Yep.
And then around the edge were these studs, and I don't know, it had like a curve to it, and it was silver, almost the color of the mic here. And it was very unique. And we started selling it. So then we would reorder it, and we started selling it. And then one day I ordered like a dozen of them, and it was discontinued.
Yeah.
And that was our first time to realize that whatever we bring in can be one of a kind, because manufacturers today are not mass producing this furniture. They're only making X amount. So that's a big thing when people come into the store and say, look, I love this. Will you have this tomorrow? Will you have it next month? The answer is no, because the manufacturing process is now that they don't keep mass producing this stuff, because you have designers who are designing new furniture constantly. You also have new materials. You have different species of trees that you've never seen before. So some of our dining room tables, they literally take it, and I don't know, some of the listeners are going to love this, they beat it with chain. So
sure, to like distress it.
Yeah, of course, right? And sometimes they'll touch the top of it, and the top feels plastic to them. Well, it's not plastic, it's actually solid wood. But not only are they taking a chain, they're taking other, I don't know what they're doing. They're taking other types of things, and they're scratching the top, if you will, and they're just doing cool things to it. So what happens with people when they come in and see the furniture, they're seeing techniques that they've never seen in their lives before. I always equate it with our Apple phone. So quite a few years ago in business, I would carry the thing there, the laptop, right?
Yep.
Then we went to iPads.
Yeah.
Well, now it's just phone. We don't need anything else but the phone.
Oh,
now
sure,
the phone is the camera, so when I'm on a job, I can take the pictures. If I need to write notes, I can write notes. If I need to talk into the microphone, it will translate it. So it's the same thing with the furniture industry, as probably most industries, have evolved so much because of technology that things are different. Fabrics are different. There's a lot of fabrics that you don't have to worry about if you spill wine on it. If you're
just like beads and rolls off.
Umbrellas, but there's even different types of fabrics. So it's just amazing what you can do in the design world is nonstop, and people need to. There's a couple things. Number one, you need to feel young, and this helps you feel young, believe it or not. If you go into your home at night and you've got this younger or this updated furniture, it makes you feel better. And number two, you want comfort, don't you, at the end of the day?
Of course, you want to be able to sit back and relax and watch your gory show.
He won't let me live that one.
Oh, no. You reminded me when you're talking about distressed and reclaimed stuff. We were at a restaurant in Falmouth.
Yep.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, recording with their chef, and their bar and tables are made with reclaimed wood from Boston Harbor and wine boxes. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Restaurants are getting cooler.
Yep.
You go to restaurants now.
But it seems like they want to give you an experience and like a vibe of like what they're all about.
Yeah, and restaurants didn't. I mean, I guess they always did, but if now you'll go into the restaurants and it will emulate. Well, we do a lot of restaurants. We sell a lot of furniture to restaurants, and it will emulate, the industrial look that you want, or the whatever cool look you want, and you're going to go back for more. Hopefully, the food is good and the ambiance is fabulous, and
Do you feel that, because I don't watch a lot of HGTV, but I feel like there's a lot of interest in that industrial look with, I used to work at Home Depot, and I know they started stocking basically electrical conduit to be used as other things. Is that something you're seeing a lot of?
Yeah, it's tons. So we even do it. We just, in the new Falmouth store, because we're selling the women's clothing, we needed to make a dressing room area, and the first thing we did is go out and got the pipe. It's just pipe.
Pipe, right, yeah.
Pipe, and they thread it for us, and we put up these really cool curtains and stuff like that. But we decorate a lot with that. The industrial look is huge. One of the things that's happening today is that mid-century modern. So you remember what show was it with Petrie or whatever it was, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the Dick Van Dyke Show, the furniture they have is called Mid-Century Modern. I don't know, what is it, 50 years old, the TV show? And now it's come back.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. And now that furniture's back, so you can decorate your home as Mid-Century Modern. The hell does that mean, right?
Yeah.
You can do industrial, you can do contemporary, you can do modern, and you can do about 10 other things that are crazy. So today, people have so many choices, and it's actually too many choices if you think about it.
Yeah.
But there's so many choices, and you can kind of go to Home Depot and buy pipes, and you can make curtain rods out of them, and you can do other cool things. Or I know one thing we used to do is we used to literally take some type of cool tabletop, and then we would take the piping with the base of it, and we'd make that as the feet.
Oh, cool.
We've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
It is cool.
So do you make a lot of furniture like that, or?
I don't make any of the furniture. That was just
Yeah,
the moment
that
I
was
was
just a-
going
yeah.
through, you know.
So you took the class on the, and so did Will just kind of always have a flair for this, or did he take the class with you? Or
He did not take the class with me. I went with a friend of ours way back when. I mean, when we took this class, you have to realize that we did not know what staging was. So
Right.
it was just a fun little 3-day class. Will had a design painting business that we had been running for a long time. He was doing faux painting. He was doing all kinds of cool stuff. So it was just natural when we started the staging business that, obviously he and I are just doing it because that's what we have to do. So,
Right.
And it came natural to him. It came natural to me. I've been in the furniture industry since I was 20. I was selling waterbeds when waterbeds were hot and cool, and the whole thing. So, you never know when you're going into a career, you have no idea, and it's like, wait a minute, why don't you just do what you already know? You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
right?
Well, we didn't reinvent the wheel, but we started a business that we knew nothing about, and we didn't have anybody coaching us because there was nobody in the New England area
That did it or knew what it was, or
so we had to just, we had to do what we did and figure it out, and that's what we did. And then, of course, Will and I are living together, and then all of a sudden we're working together, and we're thinking, how are we going to do this?
that can be stressful.
And we had no kids to buffer us,
Yeah.
and we had to figure out,
Yeah.
why am I not going to go home and kill you,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And then we had to learn our roles in the company, so we quickly learned our roles, and, now we can go home and we don't kill each other. And I'm texting him real quick, sorry. And we learned our roles, and now we know how to work together. And, together we have built a successful company, and we don't have to fight with each other because we don't really go home to fight because we have a wonderful company. And it's,
Nice.
for a company, it's, everything has stress, but there's not a lot of stress because we're helping people, we're making people happy.
That makes a big difference when
That's huge.
when your job is to deal with happy people.
Yeah, we're not dealing, we're in the furniture industry, so the furniture industry is going to pose its own problems if something is damaged or someone breaks something or I don't know what. But people know that we're cool people, and they know that we're running a high-end company.
Mm-hmm.
So if something happens, they just have to call us and say, this happened, and we're going to come up with a quick solution that works for everybody,
So if you, I always try to have some educational purpose to this podcast. So like if you had someone, youngster, high school, whatnot, coming up to you and say they were interested in interior design or staging, like what would you recommend?
So I'm going to tell you a couple things I'm going to recommend. So when I was, I was in 4th grade or 5th grade, and which is 100 years ago, but they were testing us, and they were, they had this stupid thing, they were testing you, and all of a sudden they would say, you're going to be a police officer, and you're we all went through it. But one of the, teachers or something said something that was very, very interesting, and he said, what our generation didn't realize is that there will be jobs that aren't created yet. Now,
Right, I'm sure, yeah.
No, I know, but hearing that at 8 or 9 or 10
Oh,
years
you don't
old,
know,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But it always stuck with me. So when we started the home staging company, I was living what they told me I was going to, was going to happen. So that was the first thing. And obviously we understand now what that means, and I think the younger generation will understand.
So what did they say you were going to be?
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew I was going to be an interior designer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But anyhow, so I think, we actually, for one of the high schools, we do this really cool thing where we go in and we're teaching kids on the values of money and how to spend money, and we go in as setting the space, and we talk to them about a retail store, and at that point we do talk to them about being designers and stagers. So to be a designer is fun, and I will tell you this, we will have professionals. I mean, I've met nurses. They're professionals. They hate their job. At the end of the day, it's just a job.
Right.
And they'll look at me and they'll say, someday when I don't have to be a nurse anymore, I want to be a designer. I think that it's like a love thing. It's like a dream. It's a dream job, if you will, because at the end of the day, we're making things beautiful. We're making people happy. And there is a romance to it, right?
Sure.
So I'll explain to people, just go for your dream now. You know, I think the kids of today, they have so much that they can be, and again, they have no idea what's going to happen and what they can be. But be a stager, be a designer. It's great. The staging field is so in its infancy. I mean, it's been around for 50 years, but that's an infancy for any type of thing. Staging is now becoming worldwide.
Yeah.
I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago. I met stagers who have started it in Italy. I've met stagers who started it in Spain. I met stagers who started in Japan. I met a woman from, can't think all of a sudden, Switzerland, and I met someone else from somewhere else. So anyhow, long story short, it's a business that's only going to thrive, and it's only going to get bigger and better, and who knows where it's going to bring. And it's just very few people do it.
Yeah.
There's a huge need for it because every single day, hundreds and thousands of homes are
going up for sale, right?
Of course. Yeah. So it's never going to be, in my lifetime.
And new businesses are opening, and, yeah.
But I think that people should pursue what they really want. And we're seeing the younger generation, because we have a lot of interns that are not even graduating, they're going into the field, and then they'll come and they'll work for us for a short amount of time or whatever, because it's a dream, and it's a wonderful dream, and it's a wonderful profession. Yeah. You can go anywhere. Hey, you could be on HGTV.
Yeah.
Have your own reality
show.
Work
for you. But I think we're hitting pretty much our time, and awesome. I want to say thank you, Blair, for coming on. It's been really interesting.
That's awesome.
And so people can check out your stores and the locations we've talked about. Are you on? I'm a stupid question. Yeah. Where can they find you online? That's the question.
Easy. Settingthespace.com.
Yep. Social media?
Oh my God! Please go on Facebook. We love it. Go on Instagram. We love it. Go on all those other things. I don't even know what they're called. We love it. We're on everything.
Excellent. And thanks again. And for our listeners, you can always find us at Inebri-art.com. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can email us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com. And you can always check out our life drawing the first Monday of every month down here in Plymouth at the New World Tavern, where we bring in a model and everyone draws from the model. And thanks again, Blair.
Thanks for having me.
All right.